Hey folks, real quick announcement before the video starts. I've got a brand new shirt design with your name on it. Well, it's actually got my name on it, but it's also got the police car on it, and you don't want to miss out on this one. It's the McCool Auto Protect and Swerve t-shirt. Now this thing is awesome. I think you guys need to check this one out. You've got until October 21st to order this one. It's a pre-order. The link is down in the description below or in the top right. Now remember, pre-order means that I will not order all the shirts until October 21st comes and goes. I want to give everybody the opportunity to make sure they buy this shirt if they can. So do not miss out on it, because once it's gone, who knows if it'll come back. So guys, I'll see you at the very end of the video, and thank you for watching. Howdy folks, and welcome back to our Turbo Diplomat police car build. Previously we got all new turbo piping completed front to back on the hot side. Then we moved on to making a fuel sump complete with Holley's drop-in die-cast pump assembly. Then to power everything, I relocated the battery to the trunk for extra race car points so we could power our new Holley Super Sniper EFI. And once all the fuel lines were plumbed, it was time to see if our mighty 318 could run once again. Oh no, there's an oil pressure sensor. After fixing some oil leaks, it was time to start on intercooler piping with this stealthy unit from Mishimoto. Then I routed all the turbo piping right back into the Sniper, but I wasn't happy with how it was running. So I installed an MSD dual sync distributor with a Hyperspark ignition box, and boy does it run much better now.
That's the best it's ran since I've had it like started. It's right dead on at 15 degrees. Woo!
Now it's time for the first drive. Think it'll survive under boost? Stick around to the end of the video to find out. There we go. The IAC was wide open. All right. Takes gear still, so that's good. Coming off the lift. Coming off the lift. It's actually pretty quiet. That's impressive. All right. We're off the lift for the first time. So nervous. This is a lot of work, a long time coming. A lot of stuff has gone into making this function as a vehicle. I say function as a vehicle. I don't know if it will yet or not, but wow, it's been a lot of work. I mean, I don't want to go crazy. I'm not trying to break it. I just want to see, does it have any kind of, you know, does it build boost? That's my thing. I forgot the kickdown linkage isn't hooked up. Woo. I'm so scared. I'm so scared right now. It hasn't got up to temperature yet, so it can learn. It's still at 152 degrees. Downshift. It just died. It's weird. Alright, now it's in learn. Let's see how it does.
see what the heck that was, because that was scary. I didn't see anything burning, so... Oh, don't die, don't die. Before things get too hairy, I'm going to take it back and just kind of... Oh, well, I said I was. Why it's killing power to the pump like that. That's weird. So ease into it. Don't go lean on me. There we go. There we go. So it's just killing power to the pump. I have no idea. Now it's starting to rain and I don't have wipers. I mean, it's running and driving technically, so that's good. It's not doing everything I want it to, but again, this is a very first drive. We've got to, you know, kind of sort things out. Oh, the battery started charging. Huh. I think the regulator's bad. The alternator's good, but I think the regulator's not happy. All right, ease into it. Oh, see, it's just killing power to the pump randomly. Well, we'll just coast as far as we can and just hope that it starts when I put it in park. And we're gonna die right on a hill. Oh, the pump's running. Okay, chill out. Well, I don't know if this is why it's shutting off, but I've got a massive fuel leak here. I don't know if I tighten these down enough, or the gasket might be something wrong with it. We're not leaking on the fuel lines, but we're leaking like under the base plate. Oh, wow. There's a pretty big gap there. I probably need to tighten these down some more. You can see it's puddling up fuel. I never had seen that until right now. So it's a good thing it shut off when it did, but I lost all power. Like, there's no power at all to the Holly system anymore. But I see my wire is still working, but now it's too hot to crank. It's done got mad. So we're just gonna wait for Allie to come pick me up. She's gonna pull me back to the shop, and then we will just reassess what we need to do. I don't know. It's fighting me. I mean, I have wires twisted together like that just to make it run, but that's not gonna do much of anything. But I think it's just getting hot and it's not happy. So, but it was killing power. Like, I don't know why. It was weird. It's almost like the switch is going bad or something, but it'll sit there and run. It was fine before. That and my transmission, man. I think the transmission is not happy. But that makes sense why it was running lean. It's got a pretty major vacuum leak and a fuel leak all at the same time. So that's not doing anybody any favors. Well, now we wait. Well, I guess it could be worse, right? I mean, the car still exists as one piece. Or just, I don't know, man. It's just part of it. That's what you gotta do. A shakedown run isn't gonna be perfect every single time, especially when you're dealing with forced induction. Things can get weird. So it is what it is. I'm happy that it at least made it this far. But gentlemen, get you a wife, and women, get you a husband that'll come pick you up if something breaks down. She hopped in my truck without question and decided, hey, I will come get you. Ain't that awesome? Well, gotta pull her home. I feel like I'm in this situation a lot, where something just breaks and then you can't do anything with it. Oh well, we're at least going back to where we need to go. The transmission's acting kind of funny, but I really couldn't get it to shift right without the kickdown working. That, and it's got a giant vacuum and a fuel leak. So anyway, we're gonna get it back to the shop and figure it out. It's just another day. Dixie, what happened? She'll figure it out. I'm going to take that gasket off and see if I can get another one. See if I can get I don't know if maybe I didn't tighten it down enough or what the case may be, but that doesn't answer the question as to why now the pump won't prime, which I guess it won't do that if it's got a leak. Maybe it recognizes that it can't. I don't know. I have no idea. This is a troubleshooting 101. So here we go. I guess we're going to start with a gasket and see if that fixes anything. Oh man, this thing is full of fuel. I think something happened to the throttle body. I don't think it's the gasket now, because the inside of the intake is full. It's full of gas in the throttle body. What I wonder if when it shut off, the pump kept running, and that made it flood the engine or something. Whew. Yeah, it ain't gonna run like this. It's got gas coming out the top of the throttle body now. And there's gas in the intake, which means that it's just sitting on top of the valves. Well, we're gonna see about what it can do when I spin it over now. I took all the spark plugs out. There was gas sitting in the intake. Maybe some of it's evaporated, but I'm just gonna try and see does any gas come out of it, and just make sure everything sounds okay when I spin it over. Whoa. Wow.
Full of gas.
Full of gas. Oh my goodness. Hang on, let's swap this. Whoa. Okay. Okay, yeah, this thing's full of gas. Just keep doing it until it's done. Wow. That's bad. That was really bad. Well, here's what we think happened. This is the old throttle body, and this injector right here hung wide open. So let me explain what happened here. Whenever you get a Holley kit, they go on in detail about how you need to avoid RFI and EMI. It's radio frequency interference and electromagnetic interference. Basically all it is just electrical noise, and what it can do, it can mess up sensors and scramble all sorts of signals in the electronic fuel injection to the point where it'll kill itself basically. So the how-to tells you need power in the crank and run position from the same wire. And I found that in the original harness of the police car. So naturally I hooked it up and said we're good to go. Except this wire also powered the alternator. It just so happens that alternators cause so much interference, and the voltage regulator, it was dead. It wasn't working properly. It would come and go, and you notice I'll say, hey, the alternator started charging. Oh, the battery started charging. And it's dead. And then maybe, 10 seconds later, it immediately died. Unfortunately, that was on me. The interference coming from the alternator killed the old ECU. And thankfully, Holley was just kind enough to understand the problem. They sent me a brand new one, and now we have all the parts we need to put this thing back together. So make sure you don't do what I did and avoid all the interference possibilities that you can. So all I did was run a new power wire for the alternator, and we'll see if that fixes it. So what we're thinking is that probably caused some kind of short or an issue with the throttle body itself, cooked the computer, and hung that injector wide open. All it is a simple bolt it back on. I've swapped over the stud for the carb hat, the fuel line that I had with the old throttle body, and here we go. New throttle body, and it should be just as simple as plugging everything back in, hooking up our fuel line, and starting the car. Well, I'm gonna change the oil because it smells like gas, and I don't want to wipe out a bearing, so we're gonna just dump it in a pan right here in the gravel. I would pull it in the shop, but I got stuff blocking the door that also doesn't run, so it's another thing after another thing after another thing. But as long as you keep on smiling, things get okay. As long as I can reach this. Now how I'm gonna get the oil filter, that's another story. Top 10 worst places to work. I think gravel ranks very high. Golly, what size is this dang drain plug? Ow! Are you kidding me? What is it? Ow. Did anybody see my ratchet? Ow, 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 ow. Ow, 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 ow.
Well, gravel sucks. Alright, we got the Castrol GTX 1040 and I know a Motorcraft filter, but I like them because they work and they're pretty big and they're a little bit cheaper. Well, they used to be. Gosh, they're expensive now. But I'm gonna put this new filter on. Got the old one off, got it jacked up to where I can actually get some clearance in it. Luckily, I just had an oil change just waiting, so it was perfect. It was destined. It was meant to be. Okay, now let me get out from under here. There we go. Now, drain plug back in. Where did it go? Who knows? There you are. Hey, covered in gravel. Just the way we like it. Very, very nice. Very clean install, as always. I miss my lift. This takes me back to the good old days. But hey, I at least had a place to work, and that's all that mattered. When I drained the oil out of it, holy moly was it disgusting. It was straight up water, just about. And done. My neighbor's cutting grass and my dog doesn't like it. Hey, they're great people though. I don't mind it. 5 quarts of that delicious 1040 and I'll feel much better when it comes time to start this thing. Because luckily it was not running whenever it shut off. Well, that was stupid. It was the dumbest thing I've ever said. It was not running when it shut off. Idiot. It shut off and the fuel pump filled up the engine, yet it did not run after the fact. So that's what's important. So hopefully that means that we won't have any issues. We will spin it over one more time with the plugs out. Probably have to put some new plugs in it, or at least clean up the ones I got, because they were brand new right before they, you know, turned to black. But hey, it's all good. There we go. And now we try it. I don't hear it knocking. I guess the engine's okay. It had a rocker making a really loud noise. That's because I changed the oil and it had to prime itself, basically. There's some gas in this line. I gotta clean that out. That's gas. I took the charge pipe off. The intercooler was full of gas. So I'm revving it up right now to kind of clear it out. But I've got this pipe off, it's clean, and the elbow going down into the intercooler is clean now, so it's a good thing we didn't hook it up to start it. Well, she's good. At least it's not full of gas anymore, so that's a good thing. We're gonna let it calm down for a minute, and I'm gonna pull it back in the shop so we can actually start working on it again. But we're going places. We are going places. I'm just happy that it's not hurt. Sounds happy, runs happy, and that means the world when you spend that much time and almost kill it. So it's not dead. We have Glass America out here doing us some mighty big favors. Gerard is going to be putting us in a windshield because we painted the car, and now, as you can see, you know, if you got a nice paint job with an ugly busted windshield, it just really doesn't function well. I couldn't stand the fact of having it like that. So he's going to be putting us in a brand new windshield in the car, and we're going to be looking mighty fine. Is that a non-busted windshield? Say it ain't so. Oh my goodness, doesn't that look so much better? No more cracks all up and down the top and bottom of this thing. We can actually see and see clearly. Thank you, Class America, and thank you, Gerard, for your help. If you guys need windshield work or any kind of glass work for that matter, give them a call. They are fantastic. Here's a little hackery for you. You can see that these don't have beads on the intercooler piping yet. I saw a guy on YouTube that was using these pliers or wire crimpers, and he's actually able to take where the crimp is and use that as a bead roller. It's really effective, honestly. I was surprised. You just mash it in a little bit because it's aluminum. It bends pretty easy, and you just go around the whole thing and you make a bead with it. And when you get done, that's what it ends up looking like. Now, is it perfect? No, but will it work? I think so. That looks really uniform and clean for doing that with an $8 pair of pliers. Instead of buying a giant expensive bead roller, we get this, and I'm proud of that. I got all my clamps on for the turbo piping, except for one. I'm gonna try and just twist this together with some wire. This was like 3.5 inch. All I had was 3-inch clamps. I just want to see if it could build up any boost at all and try and drive it. Let her warm up for a minute. Take her for a spin and see if we can hear a whistle. Now that we can see out of our windshield, we're gonna go for a little drive and just see how things are looking. Just gonna let it learn, let it run, make sure nothing goes lean. So far so good. Pump's working great. I don't see any issues at all. 13.5 AFR. Ignition timing's chilling out around 15 degrees. That's where we want it. I set it as static 15 degrees just so it can tune itself. And once that coolant temp sensor opens up, we'll be able to do what it needs to do and learn. I also hooked up the kickdown linkage because it was shifting short. Let's see how it does now. Oh yeah, shifts much better. I know the transmission was acting funny, so I was getting nervous, but I forgot to hook up the kickdown last time, so that was what it was. It honestly drives pretty nice, you know? I'm loving it though. It's honestly pretty tame. It's quiet, y'all. The brakes work great. I hooked up the power brake booster before. It was like really hard to stop the thing, and I hooked it up to the vacuum port on the Holly, and it stops good, it rides good, the transmission shifts nice. Like, it's pretty good. Uh-oh, come on now. She ran a little lean. The pump didn't give out, but it just, I think it's just, again, it's trying to learn, so it had to figure out where it needed to be. It's shifting great though. That was just like part throttle, and of course it's gonna start raining. That was really nothing crazy, but it it built a little boost. Well, y'all aren't gonna believe this, or you might, I don't know. But this transmission is a good stock transmission. It's not really great for our purposes, and I don't really care for it. It's a good transmission, but it's a lockup. The converter's super tight. It just really isn't what we need in a turbo application. It doesn't spool up that great, and it's just a dog off the line. And yeah, I agree. I need to invest in a transmission jack. I just don't have one, so this is what we're working with. Get the parking brake cable up over around it. Now, let's drop her down and get her sitting on a cart. There it is. The old transmission is out. Now this is the original one to the car. If you saw last video, we did a recap on it. And there's nothing really that wrong with it. The only problem is that the converter is so tight that it's way, way down on power, down low. It doesn't have the ability to make any power because the cam isn't in its operating range, and it needs some more RPM, especially to build some boost, and that'll help a lot. Because this thing really is a build and boost until, 3,500 RPM, and we have a fix for that. Here's our fix. Now this is another 904, but it's a non-lockup. Now the reason that I'm using this one is because I had torque converter options. You're probably thinking, well, why don't you just use the other transmission with a new converter? Well, that's because the torque converters are different on a lockup versus non-lockup. So I'm using this transmission. I went and bought this one because it's got a manual valve body and it's already got brand new seals and everything in it, and it should be pretty much ready to bolt in and go. So what I've done here is already switched over the shifter mechanism as well as get the cooler line fittings bolted in. That's all ready to go, and all I have to do once I get it in the car is to swap over the speedometer cable, and the converter is already seated. The flex plate will bolt right into it. That should be all we have to do. So it's just a matter of sliding it up in there. Folks, it is about 3:30 in the morning. I have been at it pretty much all day. Got the transmission out, was very fast, but putting it back in was a whole other story. Probably started about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and just got to where I feel comfortable enough to call it quits, and we can finish it up tomorrow. But let me show you what I got. Underneath the car, we have transmission crossmember in, drive shaft is back in, and I went ahead and added our deep pan. Again, if you watched the video series from beforehand, you would have seen this before. We're going to try it again. Added the deep pan, got cooler lines, shifter cable, speedometer cable, the torque converter bolts. I didn't have any Loctite, so I got to do that in the morning. I don't want to put the starter on until I get that done because I've got a torque converter shield that goes on. So once the torque converter bolts are done, the shield goes on, the starter goes on, we'll fill it up with fluid, and then we can test it to see if it actually works. I'm going to go to bed, and we're going to start back first thing in the morning. It's the next day, and we are ready to try and start this thing and see if it takes gear. Gosh, I hope so. Got everything together, all the bolts in, fluid. We should be able to start it and move it. I'm so nervous. The idle come on down. Okay, reverse, please. Oh, it took gear. Neutral, forward. Oh, it's moving. It's low though. Let me just leave it in neutral and let it spin the pump without putting any load on it, and then we'll let it warm up and we'll check the fluid level. All right, I added 3 more quarts. It did take gear, but it was, slipping obviously because it didn't have enough fluid. Now going to reverse. Oh, that's forward. Oh, but it's working though. Oh, that's so fantastic. The U-joint's shot, but it's taking gear. Oh, thank you, Lord, for that. I said about 5,000 prayers asking to let this thing move. Oh, I was worried that the torque converter would be the problem because that was the only thing that was the same from the last transmission that didn't work. And sure enough, it is working. The transmission was just bad. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Awesome. Well, let me clear out a path behind this thing, and we are going to take it for a drive and see if it's any better. All right, here we go. First time driving the car with the new transmission. Before it was like going on a Sunday cruise. To kind of put it in perspective, we're going from like around 1,800 to 2,000 RPM stall to I think 3,000 to 3,400. We'll see where it flashes when we get out on the road. But I've heard a lot of good things about PTC converters and how they're pretty drivable, except when you rump on them, and then they'll flash really good to whatever RPM they stall to. So I'm hoping that'll get us up in the RPM range where the engine can actually make power. Oh, it's loose. Oh God. Oh wait, that's third, that's why. That's second, and there's first. That's why it was so loose, I think.
Gosh, I hope that's what it was. It's got a manual valve body, so you shift it by hand. But he said it was reversed, but I think I was just in third gear just then, which would make it a normal pattern instead of reverse. Oh, this shifts so smooth. Yeah, it's a regular pattern. It's not reverse. He said it was a reverse manual valve body, but it's just a regular pattern. Oh, that's so smooth. Yeah, that's fantastic. So there's no kick down lever, which means that when you romp on it, it's not going to downshift by itself. You have to do it by hand. But the fact that, I mean, I've got a ratchet shifter in here already, so it's ready to do that, you know what I mean? It's cruising pretty good though. Like, it's pretty smooth. The RPM drop isn't very significant, so I might be pushing through the converter a little bit. It only dropped like 200 RPM just then, so it might be a little loose compared to what it should be. But we're cruising probably, I don't know, 45, 50 at 2,000 RPM, 2,100. It's not bad. So I just romp on it. Holy cow, it's spooled up like crazy. Wow. Wow, it's spooled up fast. Well, it spools up much faster, so I came back and hooked the charge pipe up. I just want to see what it does. All right, we're going to do just a little second gear, park throttle. Nothing crazy. I didn't even get up to like any boost at all. I don't want to blow it out. That's been a lot of work, man. All right, down to first. Just the part throttle, nothing crazy. Watch the AFR. Woo! Something just backfired. I don't know what that was.
Now that the car runs better, we've got to make it look better. This is a Lightbar that I actually bought off of a tow truck at an auction probably a year ago. I paid, I think, 40 bucks for it, and it was perfect for this car. And you've probably seen it in the background or on the roof a few times in this car. But what we're going to do is actually make it red for next to nothing. I'm wet sanding it here to get a lot of the grit and dirtiness off of this thing, because as you can see, it's got a lot of buildup on it. But we're going to take some VHT red nightshade and tint it red so that way it actually looks the part. Yeah, now that right there is what dreams are made of. I think that totally is going to complete the look for this car and make it look so much better. God, that looks good. I can't wait to see this thing light up. So what I've done is I've actually just went ahead and hard mounted this thing to the roof. Now what you're supposed to be able to do is have these little clips that hang over and they'll hook into this right here basically. I didn't have any of that. So what I did was I just drilled holes right here. These little rubber pads work to kind of insulate everything, keep all the water out. And it's got a bolt, a nut, and a lock washer to keep it from flying off, because we don't want that to happen. And over here, you can see that whenever it was originally a police car, it had some kind of light on it, or at least a plug there. That was pretty much there whenever I bought the car. All I did was drill it out and ran my power and ground through that. So it was very simple. Didn't have to drill anything out that wasn't already drilled. Kind of nice. But that looks so much better, so clean, so nice, beautiful, beautiful red. I love it. We paid 40 bucks for the light bar, and then we paid another maybe $15 for the red tint, and that's well worth it to make this car look the part. While I was mounting a light bar, I figured now would be a good time to go ahead and just make the interior look a little bit better. As you saw before, the headliner was just falling down, so I took it down the rest of the way. I painted it black on the roof, keep it from rusting, and now it just doesn't look horrendous. It's not touching your head anymore, and it's so much better. So over here, we've got the mounting for the light bar itself. I just drilled 2 holes. It's a bolt and a nut with a lock washer to keep it from falling off. Then right here, that's what that plug is. I've got to go back through and just make sure it's watertight, but our power and our ground comes through here. It grounds right over there. Our power wire goes down into our switch, and it does this. Yeah, now that is awesome. Taking care of important stuff. The rest of the interior really is nice, but the carpet was awful. Actually, it was non-existent. So I took a moment last night to clean up, paint the floors with some rusty spots, and I bought this carpet that fixed all of our needs to make it look that much better on the inside. That's gonna work just fine. So we'll trim it up, get it fitting in there more snug, and this thing's gonna be pretty nice when it's all said and done. Now that right there is some good looking carpet. And really it wasn't that expensive. I got it on Amazon for 200 bucks and it matches perfectly. And the form fit flawless, honestly. And as time goes on, some of those wrinkles will make their way out of there as we drive it. But for what it is, I can't complain because it really tied the car together and made it look that much better. How did the car end up being so nice? What happened? I mean, we've got a good windshield. We've got nice seats. We've got a good carpet now. What did we do? This thing turns out way better than what I expected it to be. Holy cow. What a good car. I mean, now with that light bar, clean interior, we've got the wheels and tires, we've got all the paint, we've got the turbo whistling noises. This car, I really like it. I really, really like it, guys. This is awesome. And if you look behind me, you'll notice that the differential cover is off. Not only that, but the entire spider gears and everything, it's all gone. So, why did we do this? Let me show you. We have a Spartan locker. I bought this because how sad would it be if you're going out autocrossing and drag racing, maybe doing some burnouts, and you're doing it with one tire? Not gonna happen. This is gonna fix all our problems. I couldn't bring myself to weld up the original rear axle just because it's still good, you know, and finding a police rear axle a little bit tougher than you'd like. And this one's a 294 rear gear. It's just an open rear. So instead of welding it up, we're gonna do something that can be fixed. And heck, if we wanna put some kind of sure grip unit in it later on, we certainly can. But these are really commonly used around like the Jeep guys. They use these for like off-roading, but they're very stout. You know, they'll do the trick and make both tires spin if we do it right. That's the main thing. So we've got everything disassembled. It's just a matter of putting it all back together at this point. It's a big one. All right, put our pin in. This bolt comes with thread locker on it, so it's all good to go. And now, when we rotate it down, check this out. We've got a locker. So all that is brand new, and it locks the rear wheels. So now we have no more one wheel wonder. To turn this side, it should turn. Yeah. My U-joint is out of whack. Look at all that play. Well, there it is. I hope and I pray that we're done. I've washed the car. You'll notice right here we've got some holes in the hood. Now, why the heck are those there? Well, I wanted to put a hood scoop on the car, and I'll show you a picture of it right now. When I had it sitting on the stand with the hood scoop on it, I thought it was a good idea, and I went ahead and drilled holes and had it mounted, And then whenever I got done, I was like, it's kind of ugly. So I took it back off. The thing is about this hood is that it's been walked across. Somebody had stood up on the hood and walked across that in the roof, so it's no big deal. I've got another hood for it, so it wasn't like a huge issue if we, painted the hood and then cut holes in it. So I'm not terribly upset about it, but the hood's painted, it's on, and I guess if you think about it, they're just speed holes, so you got some, like fresh air, I don't know. Anyway, over here, we've got some new decals. My mom made these for me, and she's very talented, so everybody say thanks, Mom. Got the gold star. Gotta look good. Gotta look the part. If you don't have the gold star on the door when you're out here with the black and white police car, what are you doing? And of course, we've got the Dylan McCool sticker up on the windshield. We should be ready for Mo Party at this point, but golly, does that thing not look good, folks? It's mind-blowing. This car came from absolute trash to being something somewhat respectable. I mean, with a turbo V8, pretty decent paint for a rattle can job, and just being all around a good car. We've already got our Holly Mo Party sticker on, our Romans 10, 9, and 10. We're ready to go, folks. This is going to be fun. But before we get too crazy, one, we've got to go break in the rear end. So I told Dad to come out here. He's going to go driving around because we're getting ready to go to Mo Party. And two, we got to see if this thing can do burnouts, because what's all this work if it can't do a dang burnout? There it is. It's all together. Dad's going to go break in the rear axle. See, we've got the hood back on. Got some holes in there for obvious reasons. We got lights, decals. We should, and I mean that in the most emphasized way I can, should be ready. Man, does it look good though. I told him to drive it to their house and back because we're getting ready to go, just to put some miles on it, because you got to break it in. But it's getting there. Looks pretty good with the decals on the door and the lights, don't it? That's the first real drive it's been on. I think the rear end's broken in, I hope. It is a locker. It does make a lot of chunky noises, but I got to test it. So this is kind of the first drive of the car hopefully being done at this point. And what better way to test a locker than by seeing if both tires spin. I'm trying to get some pictures of the car, Dixie. Do you mind? Do you mind if I get some pictures of the car? Do you care? Huh? Can I get some pictures of the car, please? Here, let me see. Here, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Here. Oh, God, give it to me. Here, ready? Hey, sit down. Sit. Ready? Good job. Oh, God. Well, folks, I deemed the police car ready. We're going to Holly Mo Party, and we've got a lot of work ahead of us. We're going to be doing autocross. We're going to be doing drag racing. We're going to be doing burnouts. I mean, this thing, I think it's ready. I think it's ready to go. The turbo's spooling. We still have a lot of tuning that we got to work out to make sure that it's, like, you know, not going to blow up, of course. But the Holly system really makes it simple to really figure all that stuff out. I mean, you push a button and it does it. I mean, I can lock timing. I can set how much boost I want to dial it back. But the car is ready. So don't forget, order your t-shirts. They're down in the link below for the pre-order. You have until October 21st. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, turn on the notifications so you don't miss us going to Holly Mo Party. That's coming up very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate everything you guys do, and I'll see you in the next one.